Well, the elements often a challenge on the Atlantic coast, and while the eye of Storm Dara may have passed through, Connacht have blown hot and cold on home soil this season. Head coach Pete Wilkins has elected not to recall his Irish internationals, but he does have experienced hands in key positions. 200th appearance for Keelan Blade on a night when we could see as many as 3 Connacht players make their debuts. Encouraging signs for Zebre in Massimo Brunelli's first season in charge. They arrive here buoyed by victory last weekend over the Ospreys in the ORC, and back in September scored 6 tries in an historic win over Munster. The visitors, though, like their hosts, still without some of their international contingent following the autumn test series. Connacht put 50 points on Zebre here at the Dexcom Stadium as recently as last May. It would represent quite an upset if the Italians were to add to their one and only previous win here in Galway, which came over 6 years ago. Kick-off is coming up at 8 o'clock. Yes, welcome along to a wet and windy Dexcom Stadium. Great to have your company live on Premier Sports on the opening weekend of the EPCR Challenge Cup. Connacht and Zebre well acquainted from their domestic duels down the years, of course, in the URC, but tonight they meet in European competition for the first time since 2017. Alongside me, a Challenge Cup winner in the shape of Gavin Duffy, who also knows his way around this patch of grass as well. Look, conditions very difficult for both sides tonight, but it's a massive occasion for Connacht and for Zebre tonight. And Connacht come here. We were here last Saturday when they lost to the Bulls. Pete Wilkins not happy with the performance. He's made a lot of changes and he's elected not to recall the likes of Mac Hansen, Bundy Aki, Finlay Bealham. What do you make of his team selection?
Yeah, that first 40 minutes against the Bulls, Conor, wasn't what you'd expect from Connacht at the Dexcom Stadium. He's mentioned during the week a few guys weren't going to survive that. They were going to get dropped. He's brought in a few guys as well, as you mentioned at the top of the show, in terms of new caps. But it's the guys that are retained. He'll want a full, I suppose, reflection on terms of how they played, but a full redemption, I suppose, in terms of their performance tonight as well. He wants them firing tonight from the off, and it's a massive game, not only because of that, but because it's European rugby back in Galway as well. This is a competition that Connacht have done very well in over the years, albeit they haven't been to a semi-final since 2010, but it's something that they want to progress this year, and particularly home advantage, they need to make it count.
Yeah, home advantage is so important because really, look, 4 games in the group. If you win your home games with bonus points, get to 10 points, you're as good as assured a place in the knockout stages, which takes you through in a secondary competition to the spring. So it's so important. They haven't won back-to-back home games here since March.
No, and look, so much is made about Dexcom Stadium as well being a fortress, but you know, there's little glitches there at times where they just don't turn up, and when they don't, they tend to get hurt and they tend to lose matches here when they don't have. When they just don't have the same intensity that they usually have. So they have struggled at times, Conor, but here in Europe, it is a different kettle of fish, really. Like, they've knocked over some of the biggest teams in Europe here. Toulouse come here, Wasps when they've been English champions. Zebre not at full strength, but as we mentioned, Connacht want to go deep in this competition. So they'll have a full focus on tonight. Home advantage does count past the round of 16, quarterfinals. Teams tend to go very far into competition if you can secure those top spots in the pool.
Zebre, an interesting side. There's been lots of changes behind the scenes over the summer months. They've brought in some new faces as well. You think back to September, Munster beaten for the first time ever by Zebre. They scored half a dozen tries that night, and as recently as last weekend, a gutsy win over Ospreys. So they come here with some form.
Yeah, they do. Last weekend we'll give him a huge fill-up, albeit he's made some changes. He did get his autumn internationals back into fold last weekend. He's rested them this weekend, but in those victories as well, they've shown a lot of guts, a lot of fight, and a lot of good rugby as well. They offload the ball very well. He wants them to play to space. Even last weekend, he was disappointed they didn't take some of the chances they created, but they have a very young team, and he's been brought in to really mentor those players. He's had huge experience with the Italian under-20s over the last 4 years. He's the right man in the right seat for Zebre right now.
Gav, thanks very much for the moment. You've set it up for us very nicely. Let's get the thoughts now of the Connacht head coach, Pete Wilkins. I had a chat with him a few moments ago. Well, Pete, there always seems to be a fresh focus and a fresh energy when these European weekends roll around. Certainly a freshness about your team selection, 9 changes, and you've decided not to recall some of your Irish international stars after the autumn window. What's been the message to the players this week?
Well, I think I want to see a response, first and foremost, in terms of that Bulls performance. We showed some brightness towards the end of the game, but we went 28-0 down at home, which isn't acceptable for us, and it's certainly not in keeping with what the players are aiming for this season. So we want to see some intensity. We want to see some physical confrontation at the start, and we want to earn the right to play with the ball. It's not great conditions, but nevertheless, we want to be ambitious with the way we play.
Your record against Zebre has been impressive in recent seasons, but they look like an improving side. What have you picked out as threats that they might bring?
No, they really are an improving side. I think obviously brought in a fresh coaching group and a lot of young Irish players there who've known success together coming through their 20s program. So they're a very proud group and they're not afraid. And I think you see they're one of the strongest teams in the URC in the back quarter of games. So you can see the spirit that's in the team. They don't go away. And any opponent, will be it winning, losing or drawing, if they take the foot off the gas, then they can be incredibly dangerous. So I think there's a lot of pace out wide we'll have to be aware of. There's always physical confrontation with Italian forwards, and we'll have to play well this evening.
Well, Paul, firstly, congratulations. A huge milestone of 100 caps for your province tonight, and you get to honour that occasion by wearing the armband. You must be delighted.
Yeah, it is a huge honour. I suppose it's probably something down the line I'll look back on it and appreciate, but for now, even though it's cliched, I am just focused on the game, and that's all I can do.
These European nights are sometimes curious because you play an opposition you don't know a huge amount about and you have to busk it. Not the case tonight. Of course, you know Zebre well.
Yeah, we know Zebre really well. They're a much improved outfit this year. Like, they've got a lot of line breaks in the league. Any broken field play, they come into their own. So it's going to be a real tough challenge tonight, but one that we think we're ready for.
Pete and the coaching ticket have talked all season about consistency at home. Of course, it's paramount importance in European competition because if you win your 2 home games, you might well be through to the knockout stages. Big game tonight.
Yeah, massive game, and that's something we've set out. We've set out to win this competition and to give ourselves the best chance of that is to get home the whole way through. So that's the plan, and that starts tonight.
Congrats again, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Well, Pete Wilkins not interested in excuses. He's demanding a response to recent performances. Zebre, well, at times as unpredictable as the Galway weather. They are a dangerous team on the counter-attack. First half is coming live when we come back in just a moment. Welcome back. Almost all set to go then at the Dexcom Stadium in Galway. Opening round of the Challenge Cup. There have been some eye-catching and interesting and intriguing results across this competition already this weekend, and no surprise to see some of the main protagonists get off to a winning start. The likes of Gloucester and Montpellier in particular. Further indication of the building works going on behind the scenes in Galway these days. So much happening off the field of play, but Pete Wilkins and these Connacht players, they've got to make it happen tonight against the visitors from Parma. 9 changes in total then for Connacht from the side. Well beaten here by the Vodacom Bulls last Saturday. 6 of those switches in that forward pack. Only Jack Ainger and Josh Murphy retained. Paul Boyle captains the side from the number 8 position on his 100th appearance for the province tonight. Keelan Blade becomes Connacht's 9th double centurion, slotting back in alongside Jack Carty, who reached that milestone against Saracens a year ago. Shea Mullins, an Olympian with the Irish 7th side in the summer, makes his senior debut. Shane Jennings is at fullback. Fiachna Barrett and Sean Nocton poised to make their Connacht debuts if called upon from that replacements bench. Well, the visitors' starting 15 also shows 9 changes from the side that defeated the Ospreys last weekend in the URC. Just a second win, incidentally, in 18 matches. All change in the Italians' front row with a first start for 19-year-old Giacomo Milano, also on the blindside flank this evening, a player of some repute. First start of the season for Tomas Dominguez at scrum half, and there's a debut at outside centre for the hugely talented prospect Filippo Drago, who has made the switch from Benetton. Filippo Bonzoni has been recalled to start on the wing after only recently being sent out on loan, and Giovanni Montemurri switches to full-back, having played up to now almost exclusively at number 10 for Massimo Brunelli's side. The visitors have elected to go with a 6-2 split on the bench. Well, all the fixtures right across this weekend subject to the elements and the conditions. Storm Dara has passed through the west of Ireland, but it is still blowing something of a gale at the Dexcom Stadium, as it often is, and it will be a huge factor in how both these sides approach their tactics tonight. Kicking game will be huge, and to that end the likes of Keelan Blade and Jack Carty in particular back in harness. They've played so much rugby together. Jack Carty, 214 appearances, knows this pitch better than anyone, and Keelan Blade, as I said, the 9th player to reach 200 appearances tonight. He scored a try last week to take him to 50 tries in 199 appearances, an incredible feat for a scrum half. He's now only 8 tries short of Connacht's all-time record try scorer, Matt Healy. Pete Wilkins at pains to point out that his side would love a good run deep into European competition this season. They made it to the quarter-finals last year, beaten away from home against Benetton. Home advantage in this competition, as we know in the Champions Cup also, is so important. So too is consistency, and that is something that Connacht have lacked over the last year or so. Always traditionally so difficult to get a result here. That's not been the case in recent times. In fact, they've not won back-to-back games in front of their own supporters since last March. And one of the visitors from Italy, as I said just before the break, an unpredictable side on their day. They're so good in transition and counter-attack. They can cause you real problems from deep inside their own half of the pitch. You cannot switch off against this Zebre Parma side, but it is also, like Connacht, a much changed side tonight. All change in the front row, where that man just previously in your picture, Luca Bigi, brings a wealth of experience. 48 Italian caps, now at the right young age of 33 years of age. Reduced capacity, but a good crowd in Galway tonight. And what a night it is for this man. We've been singing his praises all week. Connacht debut way back 10 years ago now in May of 2014. He's been crucial at provincial and recently international level as well. Playing a huge part in that second test away in South Africa in the summer. Many feel certainly in these parts he might have had quite a few more than the 3 caps that he has. Also 100 caps for Paul Boyle tonight, also an international test player, and he wears the captain's armband tonight. Gavin Duffy alongside me in commentary. I think the start for Connacht tonight is of paramount importance.
Yeah, it really is, Conor. I think that was what was lacking last Saturday. So much has been said about it since during the week. You know, didn't get off to a good start. They were on the back foot. They didn't meet the confrontational style that Bulls were going to bring. They didn't meet that head on. So big start, similar to what they got against the Dragons maybe 3 or 4 weeks prior to the last game prior to all internationals.
Connacht ready.
And they're on the back of
Zebre.
a previous defeat to Leinster. They came back and really showed what they were made of that night. So a similar start is what's warranted this evening.
And a good clean start and catch from the kickoff, all important, into the teeth of this breeze. Adam Jones, the man in charge tonight.
Your mark there.
Very often the towing toss is hugely important here. Brief shot of that man, Cahill Ford. So he's actually co-captain with Paul Boyle for this Connacht side this evening. What a campaign he's having.
Step across.
Virtual ever present.
Look where the AR is.
Second playmaker in that 12 position.
Step across. Let's get it right.
Some readjustments
then,
ahead of
please.
the first line out of the evening, to be taken by a player making his first start of this season, having played 5 times off the bench, Luca Bigi, and it's a difficult night for throwers and kickers and for passers even of the experience of Keelan Blade. That ball just coming back into the grasp of David Hawkshaw, back into the side again tonight at 13. He's impressed when he's been given opportunities off the bench. Did that certainly last week against the Vodacom Bulls here. So into the breeze. What's the game plan for Connacht? So comfortable to keep ball in hand for long stretches, take the opposition through the phases. Will that be the mantra? Shane Jennings at fullback again this evening. He's a player who gets better with every game. He was probably Connacht's standout player last week against the Bulls. Certainly carried extremely well. 90 seconds.
Retreat, stop in front.
Kick from Cahill Ford to test the Zebre Parma back 3, and Montemurri, as I said, back in at number 15 tonight. He's played a lot of rugby there in his junior career, right up to Rovigo, but
tackle!
More often than not selected at number 10.
No.
At this level at least. Dominguez in at scrum half again. Quite a few of these Zebre Parma players making their first appearance of the season. Enrico Lucin, always physical, carries well from that inside centre position. There you can see the effect of the wind. Really, really tricky. Going to have our first scrum of the evening.
Knock on pink. Scrum.
You say home advantage counts, Conor, and it certainly does, but again, this wind, it's particularly strong in behind Zebre, and last night you would have seen anyone who watched the Bath La Rochelle game or the Edinburgh Gloucester game on Premier Sports last night would have seen the effect of the wind and the rain last night as well. And it's not always the team that have it behind their backs that make the most of it. Certainly last night, you know, a game with 2 halves in Bath, and it was the team that played into the wind. La Rochelle made all the inroads in the first half, and Bath came right back at them, playing into the wind in the second half. And sometimes that's because it's just a little bit easier to time the pass, to put the ball out a little bit in front, and it kind of comes back into you as well. So it can make playing into it that little bit easier. And when you have it, sometimes you feel, oh, we've got to make the most of it, we've got to kick it, we've got to play for territory, and then you actually kick yourself out of the game as well. So it'll be fascinating to see first 10-15 minutes how both teams adjust to it.
No question, it will be a huge factor. This could be an interesting battle as well. Jackie Ainger on his travels there on that tight head side for Connacht. Real physical battle between him and Paolo Bonfuiglio. First appearance for the loose head prop for Zebre for some 13 months after a catalogue of injuries.
Let's go, please.
It's a measure of the vast experience of this Connacht squad just at the moment. I said 9th double centurion, Keelan Blade. I think 4 or 5 of them certainly in the current squad.
Crouch.
Ben Murphy, given the start last week against the Vodacom Bulls, not involved in the match day 23 this evening. It's Matthew Devine on the bench as the replacement scrum half. Now that's interesting. The referee's gone across to that far side to have a look at the actions of Jack Ainger against Bonfuiglio, and he's ruled in favour of the visitors here.
Yeah, I think he's ruled in favour of Jack Ainger's feet. Got a little bit too far away from him. I think we heard it a couple of times. You know, it's a pancake, flat down, face into the ground, land on his belly. Always an indication to referees that they just didn't get their feet set in the right position.
Just on the edge of the line, okay?
So wind at their backs. Zebre Parma turning down the opportunity, difficult as it may be, huge degree of difficulty given the buffeting, swirling wind of 3 points. They've gone to the corner and not found it, quite frankly. 4 or 5 metres outside the 22 is a pretty poor return. And it results, in any case, in turnover ball from the line-out. So that's 2 have gone the way of Connacht against the throw. Jennings, powerful, upright, athletic runner from fullback. Try against the Sharks in round 2 here.
Tackle!
Carty pops one out the back to Cahill forward. We know all about his dominant carries in the URC. Nobody has more this season than the Connacht number 12.
Hold!
Carty deep in that pocket, and he's absolutely thumped that, and he's lucky to get it up to halfway. Montemurri again. Elusive runner, they'll have to keep their eye on him, given that little bit of extra space and eye line that he has to survey what's in front of him from full back. That's tight. Good read from Josh Murphy. Didn't quite get man and ball.
50-22's on.
Dominguez. 50-22 is on, and he's absolutely nailed that. So this is prime position for Zebre Parma. Brilliant kick from the scrum half.
Oh, that's a brilliant kick. He got that perfect into the corner. That wind is going over his right shoulder there. Found the space. Got a perfect bounce as well on the AstroTurf. And a good start by Zebre. We saw some of the little interplay as well that they've been honing in on over the last 12 months or so. As you mentioned at the start of the game, their attack has really taken off as well. They're a team that like to play to space, offload, play with a sense of adventure. Quite often they get a lot of bonus points as well for getting 4 tries, even if they are perhaps on the wrong side of a scoreboard. They do come away with a try bonus point on a lot of occasions as well.
And certainly that's been the model for Connacht this season. They're doing their very best to try and add to their try count, add to their attack. They've certainly done that. Scored 26 tries in the URC this season. 2 losing bonus points as well, so 6 points in total. Missed out on top 8 qualification in the URC by the narrowest of margins last season, so it seems like that's where they've looked to fix things. The problem, I suppose, at the other end is they have one of the leakiest defence in the league. I think it's 188 points and 25 tries conceded, and this Zebre team can hurt them tonight.
And this is the type of area that kind of tend to get hurt as well in terms of 5 metres out. You know, they struggle, especially against the big teams like the Bulls and Leinster. RG Snyman in particular had a field day here when Leinster visited. It's over 8 weeks ago or so now, but this is the type of area that Connacht needs to be strong.
Oh, real opportunity here. That's a physical carry. Buenfiglio busts his way towards the line. And a brilliant try from Battista Stivile at the end of all that. All his own work. Broke free off the back of the maul. Spotted that there was a gap and space. And then it was all about his physicality and his desire to get to the try line. Brilliant score from the flanker.
Brilliant score by the flanker and great awareness as well. Look, came out in the middle of it. Very scrappy maul. I think Jordan Duggan we see here. Did he joined the maul? You can see him coming in. Dylan Tierney-Martin caught blindsided as well. And then he barreled through Cordero for a well-earned try. I think he surprised everyone, including his teammates as well, how he came out of that gap. However he managed it, but he found the way to the try line.
He scored a brilliant try towards the back end of last season, I recall, against Glasgow, and he has got Connacht off to the best possible start here. The degree of difficulty is off the charts there, and no surprise that didn't really threaten the target, but it's a shot across the bows in Galway from the Italians early in the game, inside the opening 7 minutes. What a score from Battista Stivile. They will expect that there's points in this breeze and this wind, but as Gavin has been saying, it's not always the case that the team that turns around with a win at their back can use it to good effect. It's been a bright start by Zebre. We might have expected that, given the fact that they come here off the back of a hard-fought win against the Ospreys last week, just their second of the campaign. They've lost 16 of their last 18 in all competitions, and it's actually a year since they won a game of any measure away from home, and that was in European competition in France against ONX.
Another good clearing kick as well by Dominguez.
On the edge.
Son of Diego Dominguez. I'm sure plenty of people remember, had a stellar career with Italy. One of 8 players, got over 1,000 points, international points. But interesting enough, 20 or 30 of them came with Argentina as well. The first 2 caps in international rugby was with Argentina, so his son is following his footsteps here in Zebre.
Jack Carty, as Connacht look to try and build their way into the game as quickly as possible, and Santiago Cordero using that elusive footwork that he has. We've already had 1 try by an Argentine player. Cordero looking to come in off his wing and look for work. Good hands from Jennings to bring in Jordan Duggan. Player who's had his injury problems of late. Tonight, a place on that emerging Ireland tour earlier in the season. Back in harness tonight for Dennis Buckley and Peter Dooley. That much changed team. Out the back now, flat pass into midfield to the onrushing Dowling. That's clever again. Carty just lurking with real intent in that little pocket in behind. And now it's a brilliant carry from Josh Murphy. Blade
Backwards.
couldn't quite find his half-back partner beyond the reaches of Jack Carty. Into the hands this time of Dara Murray. Connacht spill it forward. Handling error brings that little passage of play to an end. It was promising before that.
Go back, good.
What can Zebre manufacture with the advantage?
Advantage over, knock on.
Dominguez again, now advantage over, calls Adam Jones the referee, and they go out the back. That's a good read and a good hit. David Hawkshaw this time.
Use it! Tackle!
Stavile again, up to his own 10-metre line. Dominguez, disguised, no-look, overhead kick almost. He's got the full repertoire of skills.
Stop, eight.
Impressive from a Zebre point of view on defence as well. Now Paul Boyle off in chase here. Referee's whistle signs. He spotted an offside penalty. Zebre.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he had the blinkers on as well, Paul Boyle, and possibly had the earmuffs on as well. The referee was roaring at him there. 8, you're offside. Wait. But he continued on. And so those little lures again. This is what's going to keep Zebre on the front foot, giving them the opportunity. Kick to the corner.
Post scored. If you just go to the side, we can keep time
He's gone
going.
for the post. Now the wind is slightly more on his back and favouring that kind of angle across the pitch as well. So even having said that, that was a big kick from that side of the pitch.
Some concern there you can see for Paul Boyle. Continues to be attended to as Giovanni Montemora lines up this huge kick 3 or 4 metres inside the Connacht half of the pitch. Hard to get a read, certainly from up here on the wind, but it's definitely swirling around. Shouldn't be caught for distance, and he's not, but his direction is marginally off. So 5 points to 0. It remains 12 minutes played. Some of those players that Zebre Parma missing tonight, the likes in particular of a player of the calibre and class of Geronimo Priscantelli, who's ordinarily the starting fullback for this side, 7 out of 7 in the URC, and normally plays the full 80 minutes. He's such a talent.
Yeah, called into the Argentinian Autumn International squad as well on the back of his performances with Zebre, as was his halfback partner Garcia as well. They're well stocked in the halfback position in Zebre.
Giacomo Ferrari. Now, has that been pinched? Not quite. Dylan Tierney-Martin found himself in a good position but didn't get hands on the ball, and Zebre maintaining possession. Dominguez, out the back it goes from Bonfiglio, and Connacht are up high quickly here, and it's fly kick through. Carl Ford on the chase now.
Knock on from Green in the tackle. Scrum.
Whistle had gone. Connacht knocking on over on that far side of the field, so we'll have another scrum.
It's a lovely little play by Zebre, good hands at the back, but as mentioned, Paul Boyle, David Hawkshaw pushing forward. That's what you want your outside defenders to do. Not to get flat-footed, keep pushing beyond where the ball is or beyond where the front line of attack is. There's two teams I think we can see, even from this opening 13 or 14 minutes, two teams playing similar style of rugby as well. They have a pod of three, they have a back out for that pull-out pass at the back, and then they have two forwards running off that as well. So both teams playing very similar against each other, so they're quite aware of how to defend it as well. So
let's go, both
what
teams.
you'll also notice is the wingers come looking for that second or third pass as well, beyond that, trying to create an extra number. So quite often you'll end up with two back rowers on the touch lines as well. So they're very similar in terms of how to set up, and you can see that, you know, they're only a pass away sometimes from making big yards and line breaks.
Well, let's keep an eye on what the two front rows are up to here, and in particular on that side of Jack Ainger, followed by Fuiglio. That's where the referee is going across to have a look, and that's where the previous penalty at scrum time came from.
Bind! Set! Okay, time off a second. The issue's this side. Okay, you two to me then a sec. Okay, 3 scrums, all unsuccessful. On that one, I felt you didn't take the weight and your feet are too far back. We can't have problems like this all game, otherwise I'm going to escalate. The next scrum needs to be successful, and I've told you what you need to do now. Let's go.
Pretty clear in instructions there, Connor.
And your feet forward.
Let's see if they heed him.
They don't often or always certainly heed him.
But they always agree. They'll always agree until the whistle is blown, and then they come up as if it's completely new and surprise to them.
What you might expect is that they end up in a heap on the floor. The referee might just penalise someone, certainly. Try and put an end to it that way.
Set! That's better. Stay there now. Good. Keep working, you two. Stay 9.
It is much better. It's very stable. Dominguez now. What can Zebre manufacture here? That's a couple of missed tackles by Connacht in midfield. It's a great carry from Filippo Drago. I flagged him pre-match. There's a lot of talk about him in Italian rugby. He's only 22, but he's a bright prospect.
Tackle!
Took the direct route through the Connacht first line of defence there. Dominguez again, now this time into Enrico Luchin, so they're mixing up that first receiver at times to good effect so far, changing the picture in front of that Connacht defence, and now they go straight to width. In those wide positions, they can be so dangerous. Connacht well stocked defensively for now at least, but Zebre continuing to monopolise possession. The lion's share of this opening 14 minutes here. Plenty to think about for Connacht. Dominguez, lots of options, little decoy pass inside.
Some more, yes.
Now, has he managed to get the ground there? Are Connacht going to get the decision? They do.
More taken in by Pink. Green ball.
Yeah, good double effort there by Murray and Boyle. Spotted the opportunity, held him up. Jordan Duggan in there as well for good measure.
You need treatment.
They just have to stop him getting his knee to the ground. Once the knee is on the ground, that's a tackle, and they have to release. Even if they're on the ball, even if they feel they have a chance of ripping it, once the knee of the attacker goes to the ground, you have to let go.
Bigger gap.
But you mentioned there, Connor, you know, someone like Filippo Drago coming into the side tonight on loan from Benetton, and he's exactly the type of player that Zebre are trying to develop. You know, they've brought in a kind of an old master, I suppose, in Brunello as well as head coach. A guy who the president of Zebre has said that he is a person who made rugby a reason for living as a player and as a coach. He just lives and breathes it, and he's been heavily involved with underage rugby in Italy right throughout the years. He was head coach of Calvisano, and then he was brought back in to steer the Italian under-20s for the last 4 years. And they've had huge success. They finished 3rd in one of the years. They beat England for the first time, they beat France, they beat South Africa. And a lot of those players have now been earmarked to be under his stewardship again in Zebre. And Filippo Drago is one of those guys. You know, he's not getting enough game time in Benetton. Let's put him into Zebre, develop him, all for the betterment of Italian rugby.
Absolutely underused in his 3 years at Benetton. We did play every minute under the new head coach at under 20 levels for Italy in that Six Nations campaign of 2021.
Debalance the scrum.
That one not quite so stable as the previous one, so free kick is the sanction from the Welsh referee, who's growing a little bit impatient at the set piece. 60 minutes had elapsed here last Saturday night against the Vodacom Bulls before Connacht could fire a shot of any real meaning, and it was through that man in your picture, David Hawkshaw. Now, was that forward? Slipped it into Keelan Bleed. He'll get away with it for now, but if there's a try at the end of it, I think they'll be called back. Yeah, it's been picked up by the AR.
Come back to the scrum.
Yeah, it was a good call, but David Hawkshaw again, impressed when he came off the bench last week against Bulls, and always does with his energy. Forward. Very talented player, probably initially brought in from Connacht as a 10.
Just by here.
But due to injuries, played at 12, and that was, again, took his opportunities at 13 as well whenever he's been given the opportunity, but that was clearly forward.
No, it's not high if it's just around the collar. Got to be clear net contact or head.
Yeah, I actually thought there was a bit of a high contact there, but the referee's after clarifying that as well. But even from a Connacht perspective, it's good to hear players even just ask the question. You know, that's what you want from your leaders as well. Not in an aggressive manner or in your face, but just questioning it as well, not letting it go.
The eyes upstairs tonight, Neil Hennessy will have been checking as we go in real time, but Paul Boyle well within his rights to ask the question. Free kick one side, free kick the other side, charged down by Jack Carty and into the hands of the aforementioned Filippo Drago.
No! Offside.
Connacht coming through, penalty Zebre.
On your feet to play the ball and then back onside.
It looked like they'd won the race and got there first, but there's a second infringement. When he'd come off his feet, he'd come back through the gate again for that second attempt at the ball.
Seamus Hurley-Langton wearing number 7 this evening, an important player to have back in Connacht Rice, player of the year last year.
On the edge, yep. Bring them all with you.
Yeah, come back from injury and he scored 3 tries against Ulster a couple of weeks ago, demonstrating that he was back and raring to go. Came off the bench last week, and he's someone that he can be very effective, really big ball carrier, big in defence, and again a player out in those wider channels when he gets his hand on the ball. Some of those backs don't want to see him down that channel.
Yes, borderline violent player at times when he's given the opportunity, but a lot of the cut and thrust that we've seen in the opening 19 minutes here has been brought by the visiting side. That is a high tackle this time.
Green, high tackle.
It's against Dylan Tierney-Martin.
And it's back-to-back mistakes and ill discipline by Connacht. Firstly, the free kick off the scrum, then the infringement, the breakdown.
On the line, Green.
Another one now, and all of a sudden they're 5 minutes out from their try line.
Which has not been a comfortable position, as evidenced by the opening try from the open side flanker Stavile, which is the difference between the sides as we tick towards the end of the opening quarter, which has been dominated by Zebre Parma.
Time back on.
So Ribaldi, who found his target on this near side of the pitch,
more.
in the move that led to the opening try, and it's the same player who funnels it back to the replacement hooker. No go forward there. It's good work initially by Connacht. They'll have to play it here. Dominguez tries to dig it out and they're queuing up. Enrico Luchin is there. Now they trundle forward.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's gone to ground. Can they scramble it back on the Zebre side? The answer is no. That's brilliant ball defence from Connacht.
Yeah, the right good tussle there. Looked like Zebre just got on top, but Murray again, Jack Ainger, and you could see them, they were talking to the referee as well, making sure that they came through in the middle. Just as it broke up here again. Dylan Tierney-Martin, I think they're at the bottom as well, knowing the laws, knowing that once the referee had already previously called them all. He had every right just to smuggle it. You could argue at the same time, though, Connor, the ball had hit the ground, so the referee could have called a ruck at the same stage there, you know. So
it was close at the end.
Yeah.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
No easy task to try and get field position from here into the teeth of this wind.
Lucid, losing your bind to ground.
No, it's gone the other way, so a little bit of redress on the part of Jack Ainger over on that tight head side for Connacht, so it'll be a little bit easier now to clear lines and get the throw to the line-out.
I suspect there the assistant referee may have helped the referee, obviously on the blind side to the referee on that occasion.
Some really high scores in recent meetings between these two sides, particularly on the Connacht side of things. It's not going to be anything like that. You venture tonight, different conditions, but think back to the most recent meeting, 54 points to 16 and 8 tries in round 14 of the URC last April. 10 tries as well in a recent European game against Zebre here, my most recent visit in 2017. Now then, timed his run brilliantly, did Paul Boyle, the captain. The Centurion numbers on the outside. Keelan Blade presses the accelerator. Barging his way deep inside that Zebre Parma 22. We've not really seen Connacht in this position. Great pass from Hawkshaw. Men outside, numbers outside. Try for Shea Mullins on his Connacht debut. Brilliant. One end of the pitch to the next. Made by the captain, helped out by the double Centurion Keelan Blade, and finished off in fine style by the arch poacher, that is Shea Mullins, on debut.
Brilliant try by Connacht. Paul Boyle, you could see him coming,
just in line with me.
But you can see him coming off screen, but Zebre didn't spot him through a massive gap at the back of the line out. Really composed to find Keelan Blade, who kept the ball alive. Good handoff. Electric when he's been on the ball over 50 tries for Connacht as well, which is no mean feat as a scrum half. And from there then, they knew they had numbers, knew they had a numerical advantage on Zebre. Shea Mullins had Kadera outside, but that Sevens experience, half a gap like that.
Thank you.
Great finish. Dexcom's come alive for the first time tonight.
Well, it's the first time really we've seen Connacht in an offensive position like that. Great line from Paul Boyle, right through to the finish, and the pass from David Hawkshaw. He's played so much of his rugby at number 10. He is that second playmaker, albeit in the 13 shirt, but it was not an easy pass to pick out Mullins. Not an easy kick either. Oh, not quite. Did it come back towards us? Was that a Felipe Contepomi moment?
That nearly landed back towards him again, yeah. Like from the angle we're at, Connor, right behind Jack Carty, looked like it was straight between the posts. And it landed a good 10 metres away from the post.
I was reaching down towards my pen to mark that as 2 additional points. Not to be, 5 points apiece. And the Contepomi reference, Gavin will remember it, I'm sure, here from the sports ground as it used to be known before it was Dexcom many moons ago. The Leinster fly half kicked a penalty which went through the uprights and came straight back the other way.
I was underneath the post at the time, pleading with the referee, saying the touch judges saying that did not go over, that did not go over. Everyone was chancing their arm as to what the rule was, but correctly, once it had crossed the plane of the crossbar, points are awarded. But yeah, unique circumstances. Not the wind, mind you, but what happened was
Jack Carty didn't quite manage to emulate that. So 5 points apiece, 25 minutes in, and an energizer for this Dexcom crowd.
Lost now, Green, stay out, stay out.
No lack of physicality out there, that's for sure, and that's what Pete Wilkins was demanding pre-game. They have missed quite a few tackles in the opening 25 minutes. Connacht.
Lost now,
That's a real mess, isn't it? It's coming back on the Zebre side. It was coming back to Dominguez. It was picked up by Stivile, who's made a big impression on this game in the opening quarter or so. Popping up all around the park. Dominguez again, and Stivile is the target. There he is with 7 on his back. Good service again from the base, and that's the playmaker coming out again in Montemurri, Chikamo Dore as well. So they do have lots of creativity.
Just mark that.
And that's going to go all the way, by a long way, Jed, and all the way back we go.
Well read by Jack Carty. He just felt that left-hand corner had opened up.
On you there, Gav.
Slightly miskicked.
Thank you.
And Connacht now have an opportunity to launch one of their set-piece attacks off a right-hand side scrum. Something that's been very strong under Mark Sexton in terms of these starter plays.
Time off plays from both.
They always go for the juggler straight off a set-piece. Some teams like to build a few phases, try and catch teams out, but Connacht have been very successful off first phase. So I'm sure they'll have some kind of setup here now.
And certainly that is an element of their game that has progressed this season. It was very good at times under Andy Friend, of course, let's not forget. but 26 tries already in the URC. Glasgow and Leinster, who sit top of the table, have scored more tries, and certainly off strike plays in first phase they've been excellent. They can conjure something now. It'll feel like they've turned this around in quick time, because very much on the back foot for the opening 20 minutes.
You okay? Thank you. Scrum, green ball.
Braving the elements on a bitterly cold Atlantic coast night in Galway. That new stand on the far side of your pitch, you can see the precast concrete at the top of your picture. It can't come quick enough for the supporters.
Yeah, it's amazing week on week. New pieces of the Lego or the jigsaw piece has been slotted in.
New pitch, new surrounding, new revenue streams. All will help matters off the field.
Set!
And if it is ready for next season, they'd love to have Champions Cup rugby here next season. Could the Challenge Cup be an avenue to that? Going to have to improvise here off a scrum that was under significant pressure. Mullins a long way in off his flank there to get involved again. Jack Carty had to be alive there. Quick hands from the fly half.
In a balance of strength,
Zebre Parma have done really well, piling through on their feet in the eyes of the referee to counter-ruck that, and then pinched back by Keelan Blade. Danger is the scrum half hawk shot. Well, that's a good tackle by Drago, working hard on both sides of the ball, which is great to see for a young 22-year-old in that position. Taken on by Oisín Dowley, another player who profited from those couple of A games that Gavin was mentioning during the autumn test window to get back to full fitness. Good addition for Pete Wilkins to call upon. Mullins now from a long way out, keen to get involved and show what he can do. He's had to wait for his opportunity. It's nice disguise. A good gain of ground for Connacht again. Once more electing to keep ball in hand, and then it's slung wide. A lovely pass to pick out Hawkshaw and Carty. 9 and 10 together here. Keelan Blade, has he got the legs? Brilliant cover tackle. He pops it back up to Carty. Tries to get his offload away. Just didn't quite have the gas. Keelan Blade, the cover was brilliant. And now on the outside, Mullins again. Canters in for his second try of the night. Connacht find their way to the try line. That's a big, big score in the context of this game, just before the half-hour mark.
And it was great interplay again by the backs coming along the touchline. David Hawkshaw on the end of a wide pass from Jack Carty, scooted up along the main touchline. It was all instigated here by a rip. Keelan Blade. How did he get in there? The man that got a turnover. And a lovely pass by Carty here. Set Dave Hawkshaw up along the main stand side. Kept the ball alive. You thought Jack might have it. Then we thought Keelan might have it. What a score that would have been on a 100 game, but great tackle by Jesse. You know, he is a fast player, Jesse Ferguson. No shame there, but good hands again. Shane Mullen with the easiest of finishes, and Ferguson had the wherewithal to make the conversion a little bit easier as well.
And Jack Carty makes the most of that.
Reversal Connacht number 10, Jack Carty.
So it's the full complement of 7 points, and it's turning already into quite the senior debut for this man in your shot, Jay Mullins. Big, big talent, athletic player. This was meat and drink to a player of his finishing ability. We've seen it so many times down the years at sevens level, as recently in Paris at the Summer Olympics. Prolific try scorer right through the age grade system and at under 20s. A real disappointment here for, meantime, the Zebre Parma fullback Giovanni Montemurri looks in considerable distress as he's forced off the field of play.
Yeah, it's going to be a big loss for Zebre. As you mentioned, Connor, he plays 15 and 10, and the type of game plan that they have, they want good distributors either side of a ruck. Or in their second line.
No, it's a call from the AR as well, so if you say that.
Scott Gregory, the New Zealander.
Just for the
he's
safety,
been a good signing by Zebre as well, and he'll slot right in.
Replacements for Zebre, number 23, Scott Gregory, replacing number 15, Giovanni Montemurri.
Okay.
10 minutes to go to half-time on your debut at home in Europe, and you're on a hat-trick. Oh, it's too big by a distance.
Scrum. Scrum back. Yep.
Interesting to see how they set up now in that back line. They've got lots of options. Scott Gregory, so versatile. It could be a like-for-like switch. We will see as the next few minutes pan out.
Yeah, it looks like perhaps Jesse's slotting into fullback. Gregory's gone to the wing off this scrum initially. To the left wing, it seems.
As you rightly said, Simone Jesse is lightning quick, and he showed it when tracking back to stop Keelan Blade. It would have been a lovely moment for him on his 200th appearance to make it 51 tries. He may yet get another opportunity. Don't bet against it.
Bind.
An opportunity he created on his own with that turnover. It's at the feet of Paul Boyle, and now Carty and Ford and Hawkshaw. It's taken them a little bit of a while, Connacht, to warm up to this task, but they're getting better and better, finding their rhythm and flow. That was a risky pass from Paul Boyle. It may have paid dividends had it come off. It just didn't quite go to hand. Now then, Jennings. Cordero.
Sorry, sir.
Back with a hefty challenge on halfway, a player who had to wait almost a full year before he made his Connacht debut due to a horrific injury on arrival. Josh Murphy into contact. Carty quicker now, the tempo's better from Connacht. They've, in some respects, woken up to this game. Oisin Dowling now at the back to Cahill Ford. Cordero again, support on the outside from his hooker, Tierney Martin. Jennings there to clear out. That's much quicker tempo. Ruck speed is unrecognisable to how it was in the opening 15 minutes. And there's Paul Boyle with another of those sumptuous lines. The ball doesn't go to hand, but going back for a penalty. Late tackle, I think, from Leonardo Krumov in the second row for Parma.
Number 5.
Yeah, Krumov.
Thank you.
It was who gave away the penalty, but as you mentioned, Connacht finding their rhythm now. Going through the phases, getting half gaps, and they're just a little offload away, perhaps from making a bigger line break. Paul Boyle being to the fore. He's really come back into his own over the last 3 or 4 months since the start of the season. Another guy, as you mentioned at the top of the programme, Irish international, but never really kicked on, and a lot of that was due to injuries. But great to see him back at his best.
I was just going to say, it's not an easy touch for Jack Carty to make anything more than 10 or 15 metres, so no real surprise that he elected against kicking to touch. Hurley Langton, that's often the outcome when he gets a little bit of a latch on his shoulder, makes post-contact meters into the 22 again. Jennings now, lots of options and variation. Hawkshaw just closeted the pass for a moment and Connacht run out of pitch. On penalty advantage though. It feels like a crucial 5 or 6 minutes here for Connacht. If they can turn the screw and get a third try, turn around with their backs, breeze at their backs in the second half, it would be a massive outcome.
Yeah, and you can see the impact of ill discipline as well. You know, 15, 20 minutes ago we were saying Connacht 3 or 4 penalties in a row. Zebre now giving away 3 or 4 penalties in a row, making it a little bit easier for Connacht to move up the field. 5 meters out. And as you mentioned, it's a big moment in the game. Can they make this one count?
We've got a substitution. You're number 1.
Matteo Canali jumping the gun there.
Just wait.
Soft penalty, giving up prime field position.
Time on then. Maul
taken by Murphy. And in the hands of Dylan Tierney Martin, and here they go, threatening to make progress. Here come a few extra bodies and plenty of
advantage 7.
weights. Now there's Stavile has transgressed. They're getting very close to the line. Have they got it down?
Time off a second.
Now, this could be a card, given the proximity to the try line and the flurry of penalties, if you want to call it that.
Captain.
Certainly a stern warning, I'm sure.
Number 3 is captain now. You captain? Too many penalties now in the game. If it happens again, someone will leave the field, okay? Number 7, side entry. Number 7, side entry. Yeah, from the
You probably saw in the middle of all that Luca Rizzoli coming in for Paolo Bonfiglio as well. So they've been forced into 3 changes in the opening 35 minutes. Very much under the pump now.
Time off. Number 8, Zebre substitution. Number 8.
Another switch. One of their key players in the pack, Giacomo Ferrari, is going to go off here as well.
That's an interesting change. He doesn't look like he's carrying a knock or anything, Connor. Again, another young player who's played at every single level for Italy, right as far as Italy A as well. So it's interesting to see him going off the field, particularly so close to half-time as well.
So rinse and repeat is the order of the day for Connacht. They go once again to their blindside flanker, Josh Murphy. And now they try and drive their way towards the line. That's much, much better. Brilliantly finished off by Dylan Tierney-Martin. They got set early and quickly, back to ground, in position, loads of forward momentum. And that's a lovely try.
Yeah, I'd say the happiest man on the ground will be John Muldoon, former Connacht captain, stalwart, record cap holder, now the line-out and maul coach here in Connacht. Because over the last couple of weeks they've left opportunities like this behind. They were very easily won line-out. And Dylan Tierney-Martin, he's a knack of scoring tries. I think he got a hat-trick against Zebre a couple of years ago from very similar situations, just hanging in there in the maul. It's good discipline, good patience, good power, and a good score.
Never looked like stopping that, did they really, Zebre, once Connacht got marching forward. And it's a counter to the line for, as you say, Dylan Tierney-Martin scored a hat-trick in the opening 26 minutes of a game away against Zebre in February of 2023.
Okay.
So difficult for a player of Jack Carty's calibre. You can't really even threaten the target there. So it remains 17 points to 5, but the headline is that Connacht have turned this around in the last 15 minutes extremely impressively. Some of it has been Zebre Parma's own doing with their ill discipline and some of the players they've lost, but on reflection it was a pretty poor opening 15 minutes from the home side. Much, much better now. Carl Ford, Hawkshaw, Mullins back in field in search of some support. Counter-rucked well this evening, that's good from Keelan Blade.
Knock on it.
Forward it goes from Paul Boyle.
Scrum, pink ball.
Yeah, it's just those little offloads, little delayed passes that are causing Connacht the issue going forward, but you see they're just trying to play the little gaps. But when they're at their best so far this evening, it's been Cathal Ford and David Hawkshaw, I think, that have been the standout guys. Some of their passing's been right on the money, but it's their threat as ball carriers as well. Cathal Ford, very dynamic, very strong, dominant ball carrier, but David Hawkshaw has a turn of pace that I think catches a lot of people unawares as well. And they've been good link men so far in the midfield for Connacht.
Crouch.
Cal Ford, I mentioned, co-captain this evening.
Bind.
Still only 4 tries in his opening 6 matches in the United Rugby Championship this season.
Good, stay there.
Match-winning penalty kicked at Parky Scarlets against Connacht Scarlets as well. Now this is enterprising and energetic, and into the hands of that man Gregory, and quick then from Dominguez to the new man who's come in, Nasova. Can he make an impact? Dominguez again gets it out to Krumov, hulking figure of 124 kilograms and 6'7", into the hands of a different character, Simone Gessi. Centre of the pitch, they could use him in the wide expanses and his pace out wide. Instead it's Rivaldi now. Barking the orders is the scrum half, Dominguez. He's played well this evening so far. Can they get a score before half-time? Seamus Hurley-Langton is straight offside.
Tackle away green, onside 8.
No space or no soft shoulders in there at close quarters. Stavile again. He's an aggressive player. Still under that penalty advantage. No sign as yet of going down a different route than this up the jumper pick and jam. Ball is loose. Connacht hand on it, so back we go for the penalty.
Okay.
No, I'm disappointed not to see Zebre getting a bit more advantage there. Their backs had lined up
Just 2 seconds.
in an interesting formation right behind the ruck, kind of swinging over and back left to right, trying to find where the weakness was.
Yeah.
Would have been nice to see what they had up their sleeve there.
Time off.
Nonetheless, they're still in a great position here.
Potential croc roll from number 19 pink, you said, Neil, was it?
So as I mentioned, Neil Hennessy is the television match official in Galway this evening, and referees briefing during the week from the EPCR.
Adam, I just watched it myself first.
High on the agenda
get it right.
of absolute no-nos.
Can't see anything yet there, Conor, in either of those first 2 rucks.
Well, number 19 pink was at the bottom of a ruck at the start of all that, so unless he got back to his feet and transgressed thereafter, we shall see. But certainly it's high on the referees.
Adam, I'm just queuing it up for you, mate. Okay.
Yeah, we're at the
There was lots of phases in
one of those
in
where
that
it can so
time
often
frame.
cause terrible injuries, lower limb injuries in particular, ACLs
Stand
and
by,
so
Adam.
on.
Yeah, I think it's one of the hardest ones as well for players to get out of the habit.
So we're looking
of
at
doing
pink
it.
19
We all appreciate
here.
it's a dangerous manoeuvre. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so
But it's something that has been in the game
Another angle coming
for a
up.
long number of years, but only kind of made illegal, as you mentioned, because of the horrific injuries that can be sustained. If you see here, like someone like Paul Boy's knee
he
there,
does roll him.
if the wrong pressure comes on at that angle, that can cause a lot of issues. But
Adam, I'm going to show you the first shot again because that's the clearest one.
sometimes for players when they're
I
caught
am
in
listening
that,
to
in
you.
that position where they're trying to clean out an opposition
Doesn't land
player.
on any of the lower limbs, but he's around the neck as well, so I'm seeing that as a yellow card. You agree with me, Neil?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I concur
Number 19,
there.
yeah, thank you. So it's
So
not on
it
the lower
is
limbs,
a yellow
but
card.
it is with forces a croc roll, so it'll be a yellow card.
Adam Jones mitigating in some respects down from anything more severe than yellow, because there was no contact with lower limbs, which is what they're particularly hot on, as I said. So a yellow it is.
Foul play, croc roll.
So that trumps the original penalty, and that might just do Connacht for half-time. Get to touch here, nothing too elaborate or fancy. Play a couple of phases and maybe get in with a advantage at half-time. Restart the second half with a breeze at their backs and a man advantage. A fashion, and he's a lot happier now than he was about 25 minutes ago, Gavin.
Oh, without doubt, I think he will be, particularly after the start that Connacht had. In fairness to Zebre, they deserve their lead, but I think he'll be very, very mindful as well in terms of it's far from job done as well. You know, they're turning around now with the wind in their back, and they've got to be really clear and precise in terms of the messaging to the players and how they want to play. Are they going to kick for position, get a good line chase? Are they going to carry? When do they carry? You know, as you said, over the last 24 hours, we've seen teams really struggle to contain and maintain the position they've got themselves into with the wind behind their back.
Well, they went behind early to a try from Baptista Stavile, but they've hit back. 2 tries on debut for Shea Mullins and a further try from Dylan Tierney-Marchant. 3 tries to 1 at half-time. It's the home side who lead the Italians as they go into the sheds. Half-time score reads Connacht 17, Zebre Parma 5. Colleague? No, I'm not. I'd prefer to if I can. Yeah, no, I don't know. Sometimes some directors aren't terribly comfortable, or they prefer. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3.
That looks very delayed. On that.
We'll score 17-5. Okay.
Will the footage be up to date with that? So the way it's a bit delayed when we're talking.
It'll come up there, yeah.
Yeah, but
your left, Gav. Which one's your left? That way a little bit. Not quite that far. Just check. Yeah. So I'll just bust goes, that's okay. Yeah. I can, yes. Yeah.
number 7 for
check, yeah. So much happening across the weekend live on Premier Sports. Back-to-back Irish provinces in action tomorrow. It doesn't get any harder than Ulster away at the home of the defending champions. The 6-time European kingpins, Toulouse, locked and loaded in terms of their selection. So too Leinster going away to Ashton Gate to take on Pat Lam's Bristol Bears, who are joint top of the Gallagher Premiership. 17 points to 5 at half-time in the Dexcom Stadium in favour of Connacht against Zebre Parma at a half-time. Gavin Duffy and I have been enjoying an exciting and intriguing opening 40 minutes of rugby, played in tricky conditions, and certainly it was the visiting side, Zebre Parma, who made the most of the conditions in the opening 5 or 10 minutes, started very brightly and deserved their opening try.
They really did, Conor. They started brightly. They had a mix of a running game, a mixture of a kicking game, and they made the most of the opportunity that Connacht gave them as well through real discipline. Kicking to the corner, got a really good line out, maul going. And you can see, I think he took everyone by surprise, maybe himself as well, in terms of how much space he found himself. You can see Connacht, they also have an assurance on the blind side. Jordan Durgan stuck his head in. Dylan Tierney-Martin wasn't too sure where the ball was. And Santi Cordero, well, I think he won't have done better than that, but it was a good finish all the same.
Well, he just splinters off. He's just a ball of energy. I mean, you're told in training, just funnel that ball back to your hooker and take it from there. And he goes completely off script.
He goes off script, but look, he caught himself and his teammates out, but he certainly caught the counter defence out as well.
It was a a lacklustre start in many respects for Connacht. We thought how much of that is due to a bright start from Zebre, how much of that is due to the condition. It took them a long while to get going, and then out of nowhere, from 20 minutes in, they just kicked into gear.
Yeah, and look, the set piece is very good. They've robbed a few off Zebre as well, but what a line by Paul Boyle to start that off. Good interplay then with Caelan Blade. But what I loved most about it was this, the composure here, good handling, good passing. That's a hard pass to pull off as well in this weather. Wind blowing straight into his face, and a lovely moment for Shane Mullins on debut. And you can see here, ball in two hands, like you teach every young fella. Good offload, keep the momentum going. But this pass here by David Hawkshaw, that's a 20-yard pass. He had Santi Cadero outside him, but look, a sevens player is always going to finish from there. And I said on debut as well, what a great moment for him.
We know that he's a potent finisher, he's an arch poacher. We know about his athleticism. He was on hand to add a second try, so as I said, 10 minutes to go to half time in his debut, and he's on a hat-trick. This is a much easier finish, but again, it's good play from Connacht.
It is, again, really good interplay. Caelan Blade with the turnover, and then that pass from Jack Carty, cut out pass to Dave Hawkshaw. Oh, we were egging Caelan Blade on here. Maybe a couple of years ago he would have got there, but look, we mentioned Jesse is a fast player as well. Caught him down, but Shane Mullins, what I liked about it as well, look, the composure here, get in behind, and every point matters when you're playing into the wind. Dave Hawkshaw again, the link man, and Jack Carty then added the extra 2, and that was a vital score.
Yeah, well, as you said to me pre-game when we were questioning in some respects the number of changes, all 9 pre-game, you said, well, look, some of these younger players have been knocking the door down for a long time for Pete Wilkins, and Shane Mullins has put his hand up for a selection. Dylan Tierney-Martin then with a more conventional try off set piece. Good finish, brilliant shape about this.
Yeah, and look, as a second attempt, Zebre had given away a couple of penalties, sort of kicked to a corner, and this man has a habit now of scoring tries, particularly in the mauls, particularly against Zebre as well. But again, it's just a discipline here to stay in the fight, stay in the maul. And again, he has a nose for the line for sure. And look, John Muldoon, as I mentioned in particular, I think that's an area that Connacht, it's been a little bit of a weakness when they don't maximise the opportunities they get 5 metres out. But look, that's as good as finish you'll find, in terms of just having that discipline to stay tight, stay in the fight and get to the gain line or to the try line.
Okay, well, it's set up in Connacht's favour at half-time. 3 tries to 1. They turn around, a man advantage as well. Can they see it out and start fast? Second half live when we come back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Dexcom Stadium. Connacht in the box seat at half-time ahead of the restart of the second half. They find themselves with a healthy lead, shall we call it that. Pete Wilkins quickly out of the home dressing room, having delivered his message at half-time, which may well be, let's just start this second half how we finished the first. The second quarter, much better than the first quarter, certainly, and as I said, they will turn around with that player advantage. Luciata Nasova sanctioned to the sin bin for that croc roll. So man advantage and 3 tries to 1 they lead. Home advantage so important in European competition. We say it ad nauseum down the years, but if Connacht can get off to a winning start here, and then they play Perpignan, Lyon and Cardiff. Cardiff away, Perpignan away, so a trip to France never easy. Lyon at home, by no means easy. Goes without saying, a quality side, albeit they're having their problems in the top 14 this season. But more importantly, it's a chance for Connacht to bounce back from a poor performance against the Vodacom Bulls in the URC last week and work on this home record, which has been very up and down of late. Won 4 and lost 4 of their last 8 at home, which is by most supporter standards pretty unacceptable. If you think back only as recently as 2023, and only 2 teams won here all year, calendar year, Leinster and Bordeaux. Connacht with 8 home wins and 2 defeats. Brilliant half from Shea Mullins. Brilliant in respective. That's what you want your wingers to do, Gavin. When you get the opportunity, he's had precious few. He's taken 2 chances and he's put his team in a really strong position here.
Yeah, it is on debut. You want to get your hands on the ball. You want to make an impact. And again, just little things. You know, 1 tries on the left-hand side, 1 tries on the right-hand side. So you want your wingers working, and that is fundamental to the way Connacht play as well. So they've done his chances, no harm in terms of further selection so far.
It's not a 50-22 from the first 40.
So that, just to clarify, is not a 50-22, but it's a misjudgment from Zebre. They'll have to adjust quickly into this wind.
Step across. Thank you.
I said the eye of Storm Dara has passed us by. There's no real signs that this wind is abating as the evening wears on this evening. Oh, that's risky. It's going to be a brilliant opportunity for Connacht inside the opening 60 seconds or so of this second half, and those problems really, well, I say they're all of Zebra's making, the elements of course, but they were nowhere near gathering that restart from Jack Carty, and from there on it's a comedy of errors.
It is, and look, that wind is so strong into that corner. Let's get the setup right. That is where it's going, into that corner. It's going to be the toughest corner to get out of as well for Zebre in the second half, but they confounded, as you said, Connor, by that silly little offload at the back of the line out as well, just putting themselves under pressure. That, well, this is the ideal start for Connacht in the second half. 17-5, can they stretch it out, get the bonus point secured, because there's a few guys on the bench as well that I'm sure they'd like to give some game time to as well.
Set!
Shea Mullins poised directly behind the scrum, and now he's out the back, but will they go slightly more direct with some of the big arsenal? Cal Ford, battering ram, initially makes a few metres, and Connacht camped now 2 metres out from the line, seeking that bonus point try.
Advantage offside.
Penalty advantage, they can roll the dice now. Keelan Blade takes responsibility himself. He's going to get held up there, so no advantage coming back for the penalty against the now on-field captain for Zebre Parma, who's Mohamed Assa, the tight head prop.
Let's go, please.
And they often do go quickly here. Dylan Tierney-Martin is poised. Will they shift the point of the attack? No is the answer. Straight and direct towards the line. A foot short. Little pop pass is really good from Jack Ainger to the Centurion and the captain. Paul Boyle marks his 100th appearance with a bonus point try.
Well, Shane Mullen giving a tap on the shoulder there. Another great moment for a guy who signed for Connacht back in 2018 and come right back into the form since the start of this season, injury-free. Not going to be stopped from 2 yards out. Nice little shift of play as well. Jack Ainger posing a little bit of a threat, drawing the Zebre defence in. A delayed little pass then, making it one-on-one tackle, even a 2v1. And that weight and power against one person is not going to be stopped from there.
Well, he couldn't reach the target more often than not from the kicking tee in the opening 40 minutes. This one might disappear down College Road. More importantly, it's through the uprights and it's 2 extra points, and Connacht now have a stranglehold on this game even this early in the second half with the wind at their back. It's not too early to say that it's theirs to lose. Big task for Zebre now.
It is, but one thing we said at the top of the show, Connor, this Zebre side, you know, they're really dangerous with ball in hand and loose plays, turnovers. They'll get a few loose kicks in the second half for sure. They've also shown a lot of fight, particularly in that Munster game, second game into the season, down a similar scoreline at half-time. 4 tries in the second half. They got the job done against Munster. So, you know, they are a dangerous side. They're used to scoring 4 tries, and I've no doubt they'll keep at it here tonight as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely bang on the money to point that out. That was Munster's problem, or one of them, in that game in Parma early season when they got the bonus point, thought they were home and host at half-time, and turned around into a totally different Zebre side in the second half.
Gap on you there, please.
And they've bought themselves a little bit of field position over on that far side to try and set up an attack and hit back. It's so difficult, isn't it? That's brilliantly done. Krumov took it. Stavile, now keep your eye on him. This time he's funneled it back into the hands of Ribaldi. Dominguez under pressure from Tierney Martin.
No, he's won the ball before.
Connacht close ranks brilliantly. That was Hurley Langton, and now Duggan gets it away to Hawkshaw. Does brilliant to stand up his man and ride the tackle. Shane Mullins. Cordero. A big tackle coming in from Simone Jesse. Cal Ford.
Good.
Cordero. Tierney Martin up against Drago. Quick ball again from Connacht, and that was the catalyst in the latter part of the first half that made such a big difference. Ruck speed was unrecognisable. Here they go again. Oh, this time Hawkshaw just took his eye off it at the end. He was assessing the options before he had the ball.
He was through half a gap, I think, before he got the ball. That's a really uncharacteristic mistake, but some lovely phases by Connacht. Caelan Blade at the heart of it as well.
You need treatment?
You know, getting to the breakdown really quickly.
Time off
getting good services, good placement, more often than not as well. And he's keeping them flowing.
A couple of players requiring some treatment. I mentioned that Lyon home game on match day 3 for Connacht. That's next up for Zebre Parma. They host the French side next week. And then they've got those back-to-back games against their Italian rivals, Benetton and the URC, before they go away to South Africa and play the Cheetahs and finish up against Perpignan at home. Consider that trip to South Africa in January for the Zebre to go down to the Cheetahs, and from a Connacht point of view, if you manage to get home advantage in the knockout stages, it also takes out that anomaly of having to go on a long unwanted trip when you're in the crux of the season in the URC and in Europe.
Yeah, it does. I think, you know, you're probably looking at around 14, 15, 16 points. You want to finish in the top 2. If you can finish in the top position, you also avoid the possibility of playing against a European Invested Champions Cup team dropping down into the Challenge Cup as well. So not only do you do that, you get home advantage, but you get home advantage from a quarter-final on as well. It's last 16, quarter-final, semi-final. And that's the way, that's ultimately the route that the Sharks took last year, and Gloucester took last year to the final. So it's where you want to be, is home advantage the whole way through, both in the Investec and the Challenge Cup.
Sharks who beat Zebre Parma in the round of 16 in this competition last year. on their way to winning in London. Big tackle this time going in on Giacomo Ray. Thumping tackle. Connacht over the ball in the shape of Darren Murray. Doesn't quite manage the turnover.
Backwards.
Hurley Langton again with another involvement. It was his big tackle on the opposition fly half. Space in the backfield. Connacht electing to keep ball in hand. Not kicking just yet. Wind just got a hold of that. It's a couple of mistakes from the up to now excellent David Hawkshaw.
Yeah, you can see there, that's the element of playing with the wind in your back as well. It just takes flight if you don't quite get it out of the hands with enough pace and enough power to get to your receiver. A little bit of space in the backfield there on that occasion. Thought Quillen Blade might have spotted it. 50-20 was on into that right hand corner. Electing to keep the ball in hand, and perhaps that was a message from Pete Wilkins as well at half time. You know, let's not give Zebre any cheap possession or easy turnovers.
Well, it wasn't easy, but it was a brilliant turnover from Oisín Darling at line-out time. Zebre, as you saw, soon to be restored back to the full complement of 15.
Nothing live from both of us now.
I'm going to take a bit of accountability here for Dave Hawkshaw's last 5 minutes. I think I put the commentator's curse on him because he was flawless in the first half. He really was, and that's 3 in a row. So these things happen in 3. Hopefully that's the end of it now for David Hawkshaw, but another mistake there, passing the ball into touch. Under a little bit of pressure, it had to be said, but very uncharacteristic from him.
Giampiero Ribaldi did well to find his target, and he's available on this short side again, albeit under pressure from Jordan Duggan. Dominguez. Hassa.
The parents of Dara Hannon, please meet him at the main gates. Dara Hannon's parents meet at the main gates.
Tackle, release!
It's good pressure again from Oisín Darling and others in there. Jordan Duggan very switched on to that inside break or potential thereof, and he's made another tackle in quick succession again.
Onside. Onside.
It's better defensively from Connacht. It's going to take something a little bit clever to break them down. They've got to maintain possession. They haven't done it. Connacht have turned it over now. Can they shift it quickly? Ainger into his front row partner, Jordan Duggan.
No, stay out.
Blade under pressure. Cathal Ford on hand to help out. Carty now needs to be careful.
Backwards, play on.
Jennings did well. He's a strong player. He's not held. Back to his feet. Carty spots the space. Now, where was he in relation to halfway?
Zebre ball passed back into the half.
No, it's Zebre ball.
Passed into the half. Zebre line out.
Beautifully judged, though, as you might
Connacht
expect.
on the line.
Beautifully judged and well spotted by the referee as well, noticing that Connacht had just gone across the halfway line. So the pass came from within Zebre's half back to Jack Carty, who was indeed inside Connacht's half, but the ruck has to be originally inside your half for a 50-20 count.
And the yellow cards.
But just, you know, you mentioned Jordan Duggan there a couple of times. 2 good hits in D on the pillar, good carry on an inside pass as well. He's the kind of guy that really has to step up tonight as well. He was so unfortunate, called into the Ireland emergence squad, got injured just when he's getting a bit of momentum, but it goes to show you how highly he is rated.
Time back on.
Not always necessarily getting his chance to start here, but tonight
boys, we're inside.
Moment he has to
inside
take.
the 22.
You know, he does make big impacts when he comes
not
off the bench.
22. There we go.
But that little cameo there, that last 3 or 4 minutes there, good impact by a prop forward. That's what you want to see.
More.
It's another very good delivery and take. So just to update us, Matteo Nacero has come in for Mohamed Assa.
Release.
Tight head. And this man is back with us, Nasove, having served his sanction. And that's better from Zebre. That's so difficult to take.
2 knock-ons.
First knock-on from the Italian side.
Then green.
Oh, they were just a little offload again.
Yeah. Unsympathetic offload if there was high stakes.
Yeah. Well spotted at the gap, pick and go through the middle. But Gregory unable to hold on to it. again, you can see the intent, you know, the way they're coached. Not a lot of teams, not a lot of players would have the ambition to give that offload. As simple as, or as easy as it seems, you know, that comes back into the coaching philosophy and what you're doing on Monday to Friday, and the belief that the coach, the confidence that a coach gives you to give those offloads.
Josh Murphy eyeing up the opposition there in Giacomo Milano. Shane Mullins at first receiver, and he's there for that little wraparound out the back, and it opens up the space on the outside for Cordero. Zebre did well just to not commit there in the wide channel. Make that easy for the two wingers. Hurley Langton.
Knock-on advantage, Pink on the floor.
That's good contact from the man who's come back in from the sin bin. Nasovo using that physicality to dislodge the ball in the contact. Stavile in the scrum half position. He's popped up everywhere. There he is. He always fancies a little dart too.
That's a good turnover, but we've got no advantage for the knock-on from
the knock-on, so we'll
scrum, Pink ball
have a look at this scrum again.
A little bit scrappy now over the last 5-10 minutes or so. Good double hit. Dislodging the ball from Hurley Langton.
Time off.
But this is where Zebre, I think, could get themselves back into a game. You know, when the game goes into a bit of a lull, a few scrappy moments, you know, all of a sudden you get a 7-pointer and you're back with a bit of belief and you have the momentum, you're on the front foot. Especially for a team who's been there and done that before.
Okay. Got a sub here as well, boys. Time back on then. Pink scrum.
So it's another change, this time in the back row. Jacopo Bianchi is going to be the latest player who comes in. 6'2", as I said, in terms of the split on the bench for Massimo Brunello. 53 minutes in, it's been a heavily used bench.
Crouch.
3 enforced changes, which wasn't in the script. And as we said, some key players missing. No Danilo Fischetti, for example, in that front row. Tommaso de Bortolome also unavailable tonight. The likes of Andrea Zambonin and Jacobo Truja. Alessandro Fusco on the bench. Giacomo De Rey. Dominguez into his forward pack again and into Matteo Canali. Tackle machine this time. He's ball in hand. He was brilliant against the Ospreys last week.
Falling the wrong way.
Leading the charge was Jack Ainger. Good line speed from Connacht.
Pulled over by your own scrum half.
As Gavin says, important for the home side just to stay fully switched on here, keep bringing that line speed and putting Zebre under pressure. If you give them a sniff, they are the kind of team who can conjure a flurry of tries in quick succession, even from this position in these conditions.
Tackle!
It's all in front of Connacht and they're quite comfortable for the moment. No way through for the 19-year-old from the Zebre Parma Academy, Giacomo Milano. Bright prospect. Still a teenager and 112 kilograms, 6'4". Big strong carry from Nacero, but he's put the ground abruptly and Zebre still inside their own 22. That's gone forward. And is there something here for Jesse now? All on the points here as he tracks back with Jennings. Yeah, it's so tricky to take.
But you can see again, they managed to create the overlap and they managed to get their key man, Jesse, on the ball.
Pink. Scrum, green ball out fine.
You know, he's the guy, he's been, just if you watch him as well, watching the rucks, he's just kind of sniping in behind the 9, just looking to see is there half gaps. He's made as many line breaks as Duane van der Merwe so far this season in the URC. 11 in total, half a gap and he's gone.
Time off.
He's got good wheels as we saw earlier when he chased down Quaylen Blade. And if that had gone to hand, you know, there's going to be a good foot race to the try line for sure.
He's struggled to gain recognition at test level, just a singular cap against Scotland in 2022. His try record is phenomenal, 5 in the Challenge Cup last season and 11 tries in 20 starts in all competitions last season, 11 and 14 the previous.
Who's the captain?
It's the guys like him again, that's all adding to the incremental gains by Italian rugby through the 20s, and then both Zebre and Benetton being a lot more consistent last year. Benetton picking up a few more losing bonus points, scoring a lot more tries.
Let's go, boys. Mark's here.
Benetton obviously beating Connacht in the knockout stages, quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup last year, so they're in the challenge or in the Investic Champions Cup this year as well, from finishing in the top 8. And then Zebre, they already have 11 points gathered in the URC compared to 15 last season, so again they're on the right trajectory, and they're beginning to build that strength and depth. If a fella like Jesse can't get into an Italian squad on a regular basis, it goes to show you they have a little bit more depth in their squads than they have in recent years. Someone like Lina as well, coming back from Harlequins, Australian born but nailing his colours to the Italian mast, blocking him as well, so he's got a bit of competition, but he has a lot to offer as well.
Good.
A couple of changes over on that far side in the offing for Connacht, and potentially a debut for Sean Nocton.
Yeah,
looks like both halfbacks are going to be replaced.
Yeah, ball's here.
Ball is there for Keelan Blade and Jack Carty.
No 50-22.
Prodded through, and the chase by Dylan Tierney-Martin in vain for now at least. Snaffled up by Bianchi back there. Dominguez waits.
High tackle, penalty only.
High shot, but nothing further than a penalty. So just that Paul Boyle score and the conversion from Jack Carty to show in the third quarter so far, as we wait those 3 changes. No, is that going to come back in? That's adroitly judged,
Green.
Given the conditions.
Take the line, Green. Yeah, take the line.
I'm assured that they will be coming in, but it's so cold. Every minute in the overcoat is key. Ribaldi, he's thrown well tonight.
Started straight, play on.
Well, yeah.
Maul.
It did start straight. We're looking straight down the line of that. I agree with Adam Jones. Maybe a little fortunate, Ribaldi. Can they fashion something that a long time now since that Bautista Sevilla try? In the opening exchanges of the game, put them on the front foot. Giacomo De Rey to Gregory. Jesse now. Scrogged by Hurley Langton. He's had an eventful game this evening. There's a little tiny gap there, but that's all that Giacomo De Rey needs, and it didn't quite go into the hand of Dominguez.
Passed back.
Left with no real choice but to put it where he hoped and felt that his scrum half could and should be. No, that's a brilliant kick, and that is an absolute punch to the gut of Zebre Parma.
Outside.
They turn around and they look
completely agree with you, Amber.
70 metres downfield.
It's not a 50-22. Both of us have called it. Please don't appeal. We clearly are right.
Okay. I love that. I love the confidence. If nothing else, but he is right.
Time
ultimately, it is a correct decision. The home fans thought it was a 50-20, but it is a bit of a punch in the guts for Zebre. Some lovely interplay. And I felt for Scott Gregory there. He knew once that ball was turned over, he turned on his heels, hightailed it back. He knew where the kick was going, but couldn't quite get back in time. Such is the strength of the wind.
Just keep him there now.
And a lovely moment here now for
boys, wait there.
Yeah,
we're
a couple of
outside,
replacements coming off from the Connacht perspective. Connor,
and you open up, please. Open up. Good.
So Sean Nocton is in for his Connacht debut.
Okay, time off a sec.
A player who we've seen come through the Irish under-20s.
Now, boys, the lineup is clearly outside the 22. So Connor step up onto the edge,
and
you come up.
Number 22, Sean Nocton, replacing number 9, Keelan Blade, number 10, Jack Carty.
Well, the referee sorted out the two lineouts, and then the throw was awry. So Connacht possession and an opportunity now for Matthew Devine. Then it goes to Cahill Ford. A couple of Zebre changes to tell you about in due course. There is a couple of other Connacht ones. Byron Ralston, as you can see, wearing 23 has come in.
Just a knock on. Inside the 22 for me. Scrum, pink ball.
So confirmation, if you see the top left of your screen, of those switches, in particular knocked in for Carty.
1, 2 and 3.
Oisin Dowling has also gone off, as far as I'm aware. So it's all changed utterly. There is Byron Ralston.
Number 16, Owen DeMunter, 17, Timmy Lasassi, and 18, Fiona Barrett, replacing number 1, Jordan Duggan, 2, Dylan Tierney Martin, and 3, Jack Angel.
It's David O'Connor who's come in to replace Oisin Dowling. So there he is in shot, and Fiona Barrett as well.
Yeah, I don't know where to start in terms of picking up on those changes. If I start at the front row, maybe, perhaps. A big red. A man from Ballina, or from out towards Belmont, played all his youth rugby in Ballina. So, a guy who's close to my heart, I suppose, in terms of the area he's come from. Fiona Barrett made a big move from the back row into front row to progress his career. Was told he wouldn't make it as a back rower, too small. But yet a massive man for a front row at the same stage. So brilliant to see him getting his front row. And then Sean Yockton, as you mentioned, out half. And a nice opportunity for two homegrown players as well, Matthew Devine and Sean Yockton, replacing Caelan Blade and Jack Carty, to show what they've got to offer. Particularly Sean Yockton in his first run out.
Tackle, release.
So very interesting to see a couple of these conveyor belt players from the Irish under-20s Grand Slam teams of the last couple of years make that big step up to this kind of level.
Push on side, pillar.
Fake Nabar, 21 now and 123 kilograms. Super player, massive potential. And Sean Yockton regularly back up to Sam Prendergast initially.
No.
Zebre in possession, but pegged back. They are finding it very difficult to find any weaknesses in this Connacht rear guard so far.
The ball's here, there's no green player there.
Nobody in any particular hurry to take ownership of it. Nasove tries to make inroads.
He's onside.
Dinked over the top from Alessandro Fusco, only into the hands of Shane Jennings, who injects a little bit of life into the Connacht attack, and quick ball required for Matthew Devine. Dara Murray moves it on to Ralston, and now Paul Boyle, and off he goes, and on the outside, the hat-trick man on his debut. What a night for Shea Mullins, a dream start to his senior provincial career. Slides in emphatic fashion for his third try of the night. That will do very nicely indeed.
Brilliant play by Connacht. It was a little bit scrappy initially, but again got the ball to space. Yeah. Paul Boyle, I'd say it was in his back of his head. Do I throw a dummy? But correct decision. Paul gave it to the fast guy in the wing. When in doubt, just give it to him, let him run.
Yeah, thank you.
But good impact by Sean Yockton. Lovely hands to Ralston. Shane Mullins, again, not the toughest of finishes, but they got to be finished all the same. 3 tries on debut. Brilliant moment.
That is the stuff of dreams for the young man. Sean Yockton, it just tails off at the end. Good strike, plenty of confidence and conviction behind it, but it's just the 5 points.
Zebre 5.
5 tries to the good, now 3 for that man Shea Mullins. home and host. He never would have lived it down, Paul Boyle, had he tried to throw a dummy and step in and off his right there, take ownership of that.
Oh, but I bet it crossed his mind, though, I'd say.
Solid and uncomplicated again from Cal Ford. Matthew Devine knows his way to the try line against tonight's opponents. Scored 2 tries against Zebre back in April in a virtuoso display. I think that was his first senior start as well.
Ball backwards.
Ripped clear and gone backwards. Confirmation of that one remaining change that I make. Oisin McCormick in for his second Connacht appearance and his first since his debut some 2 years ago.
Yeah. Play advantage, knock on.
And there is the advantage, and Santi Cordero, can he make something of it? Tricky one for Ralston, all the way out instead to Mullins. And you know what? He's taking on all comers.
Always backwards under pressure. It was a speculative pass, so we come back for the knock on. Yep.
Oisin McCormick, the latest to arrive.
It was a speculative pass.
Another homegrown player as well, and I say that every time a homegrown player comes on because it's so vital for particularly the Irish provinces. I think, you know, when you think back to Munster, the Highgone days, it was all built around having homegrown players. You know, hesitant to say it almost, but sometimes it can mean that little bit more to wear the jersey. And that's then what fuels the guys who come in from outside the province. You know, they're buying into something that's real, they're buying into something that has got energy behind it, has got passion behind it. And sometimes the best teams are the ones that can gel that best. You know, the homegrown and the experience from abroad, whether that's from another province or from elsewhere. But for the Irish teams, particularly Connacht, you have to have guys that are from the local area, guys that give the younger kids as well something to look at, whether that's up on the wall of their changing facilities or their clubhouses around the province, something to aspire to. So for someone like Oisin McCormick, again, another man coming onto the pitch, only his second opportunity to put on the Connacht jersey in a competitive match, it's a big moment for him.
They've used that little wraparound out the back pretty nicely 3 or 4 times this evening. Hasn't yet brought a clean line break that's led to something by way of a try, but they're threatening. Devine again, and it goes to a Naughton and knock-on advantage.
We come back for the first knock-on. Scrum. Pink ball.
It's a tough shift for some of these Zebre players, bereft of so many key players. Don't have the biggest squad, as we know.
Let's go.
They've missed that creative spark, and maybe certainly some of the first half injuries didn't help. Loss of big players, Montemurri in particular, Luca Bigi, and the experience that he brings. Giacomo Ferrari, albeit at 22, but he's an important player.
Yeah, I think both coaches took a similar approach to today's game in terms of resting some of their international players, and you know, from Connacht's perspective, a home match, they have to win it. Zebre perhaps a bit more of a free shot. They're looking towards next weekend, and then obviously beyond that to 2 big games against Benetton. But I'm sure they'll want to emulate what they did last year and achieving the first knockout appearance as well in European rugby. So they might not come away with any points this evening, but that does not mean this campaign is over for them, not by a long shot.
Just nudged down the tram lines there by Sean Naughton after the latest errant pass from Zebre.
Just time off a sec, okay.
Oisin McCormick off his feet.
Can I just have a quiet word with you? Can I just have a quiet word, please? Just come. Wait, 10, stop a sec. We've had no issues in the game now. You've screamed and shouted at me at the last scrum, and now you've pushed that player. Please just control your emotions, okay? Your penalty. Thank you. Penalty, number 20, not support his body weight.
That's a nasty landing there by Filippo Bozzoni. Hopefully that's not yet further damage for Zebre Parma. Been a litany of injuries over the course of the 68 minutes.
Yeah, it is, Conor, and as you said, you know, they haven't got the the biggest squad by any stretch. It's always tough, you know, when you're on the wrong side of the scoreboard, and then the last thing you want is to have a few injuries as well. And it's a particularly bad one. Still not on his feet yet, just off camera.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Thank you. He's moved to the field, edge of the field.
Just making his way off the field
time
now. Filippo Bozzoni, a player who
open.
recently featured for the Italian under-20s, but has been sent out on loan to get some more game time and then called back.
Started straight, we play on. Off the foot of Pink, play on.
Loose again, off the foot, ball is live and it's there for David O'Connor. Sean Naughton.
Okay, advantage. Number. Okay. We got
Back
offside.
for that penalty. Offside against Zebre Parma.
And we got number 9 as well, who's just...
Trip to France next week, and then, of course, over the festive period, a couple of key fixtures in the United Rugby Championship domestic duties to attend to for Pete Wilkins and Connacht, away to Leinster and then home to Ulster before they're back into European mode with those 2 games I mentioned against Lyon and Cardiff.
19.
4 wins and 3 defeats in the URC so far, keeps them on the threshold of the top 8, which is the end of season playoffs, but nothing easy when you're playing Irish opponents. They'd love to finish out strongly here and just embellish what has been overall a very good performance given the raft of changes. You always think when you see 9 changes that cohesion and fluency might be an issue, and certainly there were a few teething problems in the opening 15 minutes, but they've coped extremely well.
Tackle!
Carl Ford again trying to drive his team forward. Oh, it's a lovely little pass, brilliant pass, and Santiago Cordero gets try number 6. Brilliant missile of a pass from Matthew Devine.
Yeah, missile is the word, Connor. There's a lot of pace on it. Cordero did well to hold it, but once he got it, he was in space. I said it was 10 minutes to go. They want to finish with a flourish. All these guys coming off the bench, you know, whether it's their first game or Ushmi Cormac, you know, his first game in 2 years, or some guys just jumping at the bit this season, they want to finish with a flourish. Cordero as well, you can see how happy he is. Tower time last season, obviously ran into the goalpost in one of his first training sessions, an open training session in front of the public, and he ran into the goalpost 10 minutes into it. Cruciate ligament, and out for the season, made it the last 2 games of the season, but that's a nice moment for him. You feel he's just about to spark and become a firm favourite in Connacht like he did in England and in France before this, and that'll do his confidence the world of good.
A try for the Pumas against the Azzurri in November, and he's scoring tries against the Italians again. That's not a million miles away, you know. That's a brilliant nudge from over there. First points of his senior career for Sean Naughton. He won't kick too many more difficult than that. There's that pass again in the finish.
36, Zebre 5.
Yeah, you mentioned his first conversion, Sean Naughton's first conversion. He hit it with, you know, plenty of power, plenty of conviction, a lot of confidence. On that one, he got the reward that time.
Dovetailed very nicely with Jack Murphy in the under-20s, acquitted himself exceptionally well each time he was called upon.
Thank you. Not gone on the floor, is it, Neil? Thank you. Scrum.
It's turned out to be a very good night's work for Connacht. I spoke pre-game about the fact that the conditions wouldn't lend itself to a multitude of tries. Half a dozen is a good return. It's never going to be a landslide like we've seen in recent games. They're 54-16, as I said in the most recent meeting, and some of the European encounters between these two sides down the years. I recall Connacht scoring 10 tries in one, 8 in the other.
Crouch.
It's a good shove from the Zebre Parma forward pack. Good tackle from Devine. Now Sauve now.
Clear the tackle area. This player here is lying on the ball, 16, green.
Tonight's attendance at the Dexcom Stadium, 2,672.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We thank you for your continued support.
So an opportunity, albeit scant consolation, I'm sure, with 5 minutes or thereabouts to go for Zebre to try and revisit what's been an unexplored territory, the Connacht 22, for the last 20 minutes and more, it seems, since that Simone Jesse break almost brought a second try.
Yeah. And 8. Yeah, 6 and 8. Yeah.
It's been a defensive
Penalty
effort.
advantage. 6 and 8 entry.
A couple of players falling foul of the referee there, as you can see, Paul Boyle and Josh Murphy, penalty advantage.
No advantage, 6 and 8 side entry for them all. Thank you. Number 6 and 8 entry into the maul.
Plenty to ponder between now and next weekend and the visit of Lyon, recent Challenge Cup winners, to Parma for
in this area now.
Massimo Brunelli.
Discipline.
And you fancy the first thing he will do is reintegrate as quickly as he can those Italian players that he's been missing this evening and the impact they could have.
More.
Good contest.
Stay.
Paul Boyle has been in the thick of things all evening. I'm sure he's pretty close to the top of Gavin Duffy's Player of the Match nominations. We'll get that Player of the Match in due course.
It's broken off.
And there it is eventually for the replacement tight head, Matteo Nocera. Then it's a little bit loose. Oh, there's a gap there. No second invitation required, and they do get a consolation try as the replacement scrum half, Alessandro Fusco, who spots the gap. Connacht switch off for just a second and they're punished.
We play on, the TMO's confirmed as well.
Yeah, and the TMO has confirmed it as well, so don't be any review on that, but spotted a gap. Fusco on return from international duty as well with Italy over the course of the internationals.
The kick's good, so we play on.
He's the only one that has been recalled for this particular game, and on his 50th cap for Zebre. He gets him on the scoreboard again, but
Connacht 36, Zebre 12.
Yeah, he showed a quick query heels there. Yeah. But again, it comes on the back of Connacht still discipline. I don't want to take anything from Zebre, but I think that's an area, an element of the game perhaps that Connacht will continue to look on, is their ill discipline, allowing Zebre up the field. A couple of occasions when they have had the opportunities inside 20 who all come about because Connacht still discipline. But Zebre, in fairness, might be good enough to capitalise on it as well.
Swirling kick,
carried back.
So difficult. Oisin McCormick is on the prowl. Fusco and Jesse now.
Release the ball back to his feet.
Good delivery again from Fusco. He's been lively. Still only 25, lots of time for him to develop his credentials at test match level as well. Numbers here on the short side, if they can utilise them to good effect. Over the top towards Gregory, and then the space is closed down.
Timing's good.
Lassisi. Paul Boyle, look, 78 minutes on the watch and still working tirelessly. Oh, that was risky. Solar plexus opened up. Big, crushing, thumping, physical challenge. Connacht ball, it's got to come back or it's a penalty.
Unplayable, green ball. He's won the ball in the contest. Unplayable, green ball.
Okay, well, it's not a penalty, but it's the next best thing. So as we await this scrummage, maybe time to get Gavin Duffy's EPCR Challenge Cup man of the match this evening.
Yeah, there's a few guys that put their hand up as well, Conor. I think in general, hasn't been the most fluid or consistent performance from a Connacht perspective. But there's a few guys who contributed to when they've been at their best, and ultimately that's been Carl Ford, Dave Hawkshaw in particular, good moments in the back line, Lincoln in play, Caelan Blade a good 40 odd minutes or so before he was being replaced on his 200 cap. Paul Boyle really to the fore. As I mentioned before, he's come back into his best and ultimately he set up a couple of tries for Shea Mullins, who is my URC my Challenge Cup man of the match. Shea Mullins, hat-trick on debut, dream debut for a right winger. Has waited his opportunity while he's been off playing for the Ireland Sevens in the Olympics, making a name for himself there, but certainly has his name in lights tonight in Dexcom Stadium.
Maybe Connacht not quite finished just yet.
No.
Devine. Dara Murray. Boyle again, right to the very end. That's a good scragging tackle on the replacement scrum half. Nowhere to go for Matthew Devine. He presents the ball well.
Yeah, the ball is out, yes.
Into the hands of McCormick, straight in front of those posts. Back inside. Dara Murray again. Devine. Nocton gets it away to Carl Ford.
Thank you.
No opportunity here again now on the outside, perhaps. Paul Boyle, this would be the icing on the cake. Absolutely fantastic. Second try of the evening on his 100th appearance for Paul Boyle. Lurking with real intent in those wide expanses on the far side, and a brilliant finish. He's had a super game.
He's had a brilliant game. As I just mentioned as well, he was right up there for man of the match contention. Another 5 minutes perhaps he'd get his third try, but that was...
Can't change it.
Well, it was well finished. But he's been carrying really well. He's defended really well, put in some big hits. And as I mentioned at the top of the game, you know, Connacht, when they're at their best, to have the wingers sweeping in behind, but then they got fellas like Paul Boyle on the touchline, waiting for the opportunity, and they're a handful. Like, you know, when you're out there as well as a winger, you're going to give away 10, 15 kgs to a back rower, especially one who's got pace as well. It's going to be particularly hard to bring down. And that's a good finish by Connacht to this game.
He knows his way to the posts from here. It's very, very close again, and after some deliberation, up go the flags of the ARs. What a finish to the game. What a kick. 2 out of 3 from Sean Nocton from the kicking tee, and the 2 more difficult ones launched from away on that wide angle. So in the end, comprehensive and emphatic and hugely encouraging from a Connacht point of view, given the contribution of some of the wider squad players on a night when they made 9 changes and elected not to recall their Irish internationals. It started well for Zebre Parma, but then they were second best quite quickly thereafter. A hat-trick of tries on debut by the player of the match, Shea Mullins, and 2 on his 100th appearance for the captain on the night, Paul Boyle. It is job done for Pete Wilkins' Connacht side, and they are up and running in the Challenge Cup. It's a big, big win on home soil, a must-win on the launch pad, perhaps, for something in this competition this season. Final score once again then at the Dexcom Stadium reads Connacht 43, Zebre Parma 12. Well, they got there in the end after a difficult opening 15 or 20 minutes. Gavin, they took control of the game when they just came to life really after that opening quarter. Those couple of quick fire tries from Shea Mullins, and thereafter they didn't look like it was going to be any other result.
No, and look, in fairness to Zebre, they did make a game of it in the first half. But when Connacht are at their best, you know, they've got slick handling, they've got work rate off the ball. It's something that Pete Wilkins had mentioned during the week. You know, he wants to see higher intensity, a higher work rate, and he got that tonight. You know, not always for 80 minutes, but at times they were very, very good. A little bit of issues still around discipline, perhaps that allows teams like Zebre did tonight. They got into the 22, 5-metre lineouts. That's hurting Connacht. It hurt them again tonight. But there'll be a lot of positive from this. I think he did get a reaction ultimately from the players he reselected from last week. Some lovely moments, you know, some milestones, guys getting first caps, and a really good start to this EPCR Challenge Cup. And we've spoke about it right throughout the night. We've seen it over the weekend. You know, home advantage is massive, and particularly if you want to go long into this competition, you need to top your pool, come second in your pool. Sometimes that road to the final can be a little bit easier.
I'd never like to see a player hobbling around, but it was a good night's work as well from Keelan Blade. 200 for him, but the headlines all written by one player tonight on his senior debut. Shay Mullins is tonight's EPCR Challenge Player of the Match, and he's standing by very generously to give us his thoughts on an incredible night. Shay, congratulations, what a game, a hat-trick. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I was kind of mostly on the end of the work the boys were putting in, but we like a big focus this week on sticking to our structure in the phase play. It was a bit loose last week. We weren't really ourselves, and credit to the boys. We did it better this week, so yeah.
Look, every young player coming through the ranks, age grade rugby, right the way up through the system, dreams of making their senior debut. We've seen you score countless tries through the sevens campaigns, but what's it like to make the step up and to play on a like that tonight in European competition on home soil in Galway as well?
Yeah, it's unreal. It's been my dream the past couple of years. Sevens has been a massive development for me, and I think just being able to make my senior debut tonight was just the start of things to come for me, and I think I'm really looking forward to it.
And to come in and make your debut in a side where we saw a player of the calibre of Keelan Blade play for the 200th time for Connacht, and a couple of tries for the captain on the night, Paul Boyle. It's a good night's work all round and a much needed big victory.
Yeah, huge congratulations obviously to those two lads, veterans in the squad and big characters. And yeah, I'm just proud of them, how they played, and happy for the boys that we got the win tonight.
Delighted for you, congratulations, and let's hope it's the first 3 of many tries in that green jersey.
Thank you, Connor.
Well, he speaks very well indeed, and a great night's work, as I mentioned again, from the captain, Paul Boyle. Okay, let's get to a break, and we will have further reaction and analysis from the Dexcom when we come back. Stay with us.